Okay. Thank you. And welcome to the Draft Professor. We're doing summer scouting today with Brian Maafi. And Brian, you have some offensive linemen. I believe you're going to share your top 20 offensive linemen, correct?
Yeah, I think I haven't really completely ranked them per se as far as the whole offensive line as a whole. It's kind of got offensive tackles, offensive guards, and centers kind of separated out. But
okay.
Yeah, but I'll still kind of give you an idea, like at least kind of where my top 20-ish guys are. So right now, my number one offensive line right now is Spencer Fano from Utah. But I think he's probably not going to stay there because again, it's at least a tackle class. There are a bunch of guys with talent that can move up, a bunch of young guys. There's some extra sophomores and juniors and stuff. I think, could all really have big years. So I think by the end of this draft cycle, he probably won't be number one, but at least right now he is, just because he is right now. At least he's so technically advanced. So I think but his frame's a little small. He's not the most athletic guy in the world. So, but at least right now, projecting out, he's got probably a better way to put it is he probably has like the best floor of the offensive tackles in this class. So that's why at least he's number one right now for me. Next would probably be Blake Miller from Clemson. That's a little bit of a projection for me. He was a freaky kind of athlete type guy when he came to Clemson, and it took him a little while to kind of get there, but he really started showing some flashes last year. I think if he continues to work on and get better, improve and whatnot, I think he could really move up the boards, of course. Next, it's I have Drew Shelton from Penn State. Somewhat similar situation to Miller. Big name 4-star recruit. Just took him some time to get there. Of course, he didn't really start until I think this past year was his first year as a full-time starter. I think he started a couple of games in 2023. But again, another guy that projects to have a lot high upside. Could end up being tackle one. He at least has the talent to go like top 10. If he gets there, just needs to iron out a lot of technical stuff, like a lot of these guys, just because of the lack of starts and playing time. Next guy, actually, I'm projecting, probably name you probably haven't heard yet, J.C. Davis from Illinois. I really liked him at New Mexico State, and then he came to Illinois this past year, and looked pretty good. I think he put on too much weight because at New Mexico State he was like in the 300-ish pounds, but this past year he was played about 320. I think he put on a little too much weight. He looked a little slow, a little sluggish, and he has some injuries. So hopefully he can get healthy and then drop a little bit of weight and then get back to kind of his playing weight, because he's really athletic, good mover, good length. He can play left tackle in the NFL. I think he can stay there. Again, it's just if he can stay healthy, get his weight down a little bit. He can guy who can really move up. Next player I have is again kind of a projection too. Xavier Chaplin from Auburn. He transferred over there from Virginia Tech. He may end up being a right tackle, but he's big, 6'6", 320 plus. Long arms, physical, strong, really good run blocker, which is why I think a lot of people are projecting to the right side. I think he could probably survive on the left side in the NFL, but I think long term and like upside wise, I think you probably want him more on the right side. But he's a guy I really like. Next guy I have actually would be Caleb Lomu from Utah. That's another guy again that he's just a redshirt sophomore, so there's a pretty decent chance he probably goes back, just because you don't see very many redshirt sophomores come out, especially on the O-line. But if he takes a big leap, it's possible. He has a lot more higher upside than Fano. Again, if he takes that big leap, he could end up being offensive tackle one. Just super athletic, freaky guy who can do anything you want, really. It's just, again, like I said, the development, technical stuff, aiming points, adding some strength, core strength and stuff like that. But my next guy would be Corey Robinson from Arkansas. Again, another transfer. He played at Georgia Tech this past year. He's moving to Arkansas this year. He's going to play. He's going to actually play left tackle again. Again, I think he's somewhat similar situation to Xavier Chaplin. Big dude, strong, probably better of a pass protector, a little more athletic than Xavier, but similar situation as far as taking a step up in competition. And, he didn't start really developing, I should say, until this past year. So still has some room to grow, but could be a really good guy against another guy I think could really move up in the boards. I could easily see him going second round, bottom of the first round type of area. Next, actually, that'll be my first guard, Jaden Roberts from Alabama. He went back. Obviously, he could have came out, but he went back to get another year, which I think he really needed. He had a number of technical flaws I saw on film, but the guy, you look at him, he's 6'5", 310, but like if you look at his body, his arms, he's like the quote unquote all off the bus team guy. He's just this huge hulking guy. He's got muscles on top of muscles. His arms are ginormous. He's got, again, his arms, he's just got muscles on top of muscles. Pretty good athlete, not elite, not a freaky guy, but it's still a pretty good athlete. Like if I were to project his RAS score, probably like in the 7.5, something like that. So not freaky athlete, but pretty good athlete. Can move, can get down on the field, can get to the second level. Guy I really like. I think he can really move up again. Of course, if he fixes some of those technical things, he's improved a little bit in pass pro and stuff like that. But I think he can really move up the boards. I think he has first round potential. And then after him, Francis Mongoya from Miami, 6'6", 315. I think he's been heavier at times, but he's around 315. With him, I'm just not 100% sure where I'm projecting him. I have him listed as a tackle for now, but I know a lot of people talk about projecting him inside the guard. I could see it. I'm just not sure yet. I just still want to watch this year at least until I settle on where I think he's going to play. But some people have concerns about his length. I think his length's okay, but like I said, I still could see him moving aside. But again, another big, physical, strong guy. Good run blocker. Plays right tackle for Miami, but I like I said, I could see him moving into playing some guard. But I think, like I said, I think the potential's there. I think if my projection ends up moving over to guard, I think he could go higher at guard and then go to tackle, if that makes sense. But yeah, he's a guy to watch this year. After him, I have Caden Green from Missouri. Another guy it's a highly ranked guy, highly recruited guy, really super athletic, freaky athletic guy, but just it took him a while to kind of get there. He's still kind of getting there. He's showing again. Another guy's kind of showing flashes. Really good mover. I think he's probably, just off the top of my head, probably the best athlete of the top kind of guards in this class. But yeah, again, with him, similar to Roberts, although different kind of players. Similar to Roberts in the sense of that he has the potential, the upside to go really high. I could see him, I could definitely see him getting into the first round if he really, like I said, gets the technical. I think you could even kick him out to tackle if you need him to play there. I think you could kick him out to tackle and start him, half a season or whatever in the NFL if he develops, of course. For injuries or whatever, I think you could kick out to tackle if you need him to. But again, really high upside. After him, I have Emil Wagner from Notre Dame. Pretty solid player, high floor. Just not sure about the upside. He's 6'6" and he's sub 300 pounds. And from what I've heard from people around Notre Dame, he's really struggling keeping his weight up. He's really struggling getting even to 300 pounds. And you see it sometimes on film. He struggles sometimes with some power and stuff like that. So I'm just not sure if there's much more upside there yet. And with him being redshirt junior, he could even go back for his redshirt senior year if, he feels like he's still not ready. If he's still having trouble adding weight and getting a strong core and adding weight to his lower body. Again, of course, like I said, kind of not a super high upside. He's not a super freaky athlete, but I think there's still starter upside there. It's just like I said, the ceiling there, I'm just not sure about. I want to see how he plays this year and see how it goes. So he could move up, could move down. We'll see. After him, I have let's see. I'm just kind of switching back and forth. After him, I would say probably Jude Bowery from Boston College. I really liked his film. Again, he's one of those your traditional Boston College offensive lineman. He's tall, long, not super big, but he's over 300 pounds. He's 308. Pretty good athlete, not an elite athlete, but a pretty good athlete. I think he probably ends up playing right tackle in the NFL, but I think emergency situation, he could probably play some left tackle. But again, not elite athlete, but just really technically sound, kind of just your traditional Boston College guys. Probably going to go on day 2, probably going to start like 10 years in the league. Maybe go to like one Pro Bowl or something like that. But, he's just going to be a good player. And then after him, I have Ernest Green from Georgia. I have him projected to move inside. I don't think he has the feet or the length to play tackle. I know he plays tackle for Georgia, but I think he's going to be projected inside the guard. Plus, I think that's where his playing style will fit better. He's more of a physical, kind of want to bury you in the ground type of guy. So I think that's where he projects better as a guard. Pretty good athlete, not freaky athlete, but still pretty good athlete. Can move, can pretty good get out and run on on those screens and getting pulled and stuff like that. So I think that's why I think he projects better to guard. Again, a redshirt junior, so he could go back. But yeah, so I think he's going to play guard, and I think he could move up if he has a big year. After him, check my centers real quick. There. Okay, and after him, I would just say a guy I think could sneak up there. Jacarius Peak from North Carolina State, 6'4", just under 300 pounds. Again, he's put on some weight. You can see on the film he does need to get a little bit stronger on the core, add some lower body weight, strengthen up his anchor and stuff like that. But pretty good athlete. I think he's better player. I think he's a better, better upside than Belton from this past draft. I think he could play left on the left side in the NFL. His length's okay. I could see some teams projecting left guard, but I think he's going to be able to stay at tackle. Again, like I said, a guy who can move up the boards if he has a big year. After him, I have Caden Proctor from Alabama. I just don't love his film. I see the potential there. It's just he's just way too big. He's gotten way too big. He was listed at 370. I think this offseason he dropped a little bit of weight, but I think he's like in the 360s now, but in the low 360s, high 350s, something like that. But he's still way too big. He should be playing around like 330. And for his size and weight, he moves pretty well, but it's not good enough for the NFL, if that makes sense. So again, he needs to get down to about 330. But right now he's still more potential than what would I call it? More potential than being ready for the NFL. I think, like I said, he needs to drop weight. He needs to work on some technical stuff. His pass pro needs a lot of work. So I think, again, it's a lot of potential. He could move up really high if he like I said, he drops, 30 pounds and works on some stuff. He could sneak in the first round, at least for me, or at least get a first round grade for me. But it's just he needs to get there. He needs first. Next would probably be my first center, Jake Slaughter from Florida. Pretty good athlete, kind of just a solid dude. Probably come to the league, start 8-10 years. Maybe go to a Pro Bowl, maybe, but just be a solid starter, decent athlete. All that good stuff. After that, I have where'd I go? PJ Williams from SMU, plays right tackle, projects the right tackle. Has good size, 6'5", 317, good athlete. Again, wasn't a full-time starter until this past season. Had a few starts in 2023, but again, a projection. He's a redshirt junior. If he gets there, again, he can move up a lot, of course, as well. just a good run blocker. Just when these SMU guys, their offensive line coach seems to be pretty good at training their guys, so they get them pretty well technically advanced, I should say. Next, I have again. This is another projection. Brian Parker from Duke. He plays tackle for them, but I'm projecting to move inside. On film, his length, for a tackle, his length is not good. For a guard, I think it's fine. But I think that's why I'm projecting. He's a pretty good athlete, just like kind of similar situation to Barton from a couple of years ago. Play tackle, but he's going to definitely move inside. He's played both left tackle and right tackle, actually, but I'm projecting him to move inside. Like I said, just a pretty good solid dude all around. Could still use some fix. Actually, he played some a little bit of guard. I don't know one guy. Sorry, I was looking at my list here. Just to play tackle, but perhaps move inside. Next, I actually like a lot Connor Liu from Auburn, center. He's your 6'3", 300-pound athletic dude who's really smart. Not super strong, but again, he's athletic. He's smart. He can move. You can use him as a puller if you really want. He's still really young. Actually, he won't be 20 until the end of August. So he's pretty young. He won't. So if he came out, he's a junior. If he came out, he wouldn't even be 21 until basically the start of his rookie year. So he's a young guy, could really move up on the boards and really sneak up there and stuff. Could go back, of course, because he is young, but one of the better centers in this class, I think, in my opinion, at least. After him, another guy I have kind of a projection of a transfer, which is most of these guys nowadays are transfers. Joe Cotton from Cincinnati. He's transferring over from South Dakota, so it's against a step up in competition. So, of course, it's we want to see him against the bigger competition first, but I think the potential is there for him to move up. Like I said, 6'7", 310 guy, left tackle. I think I feel like he has the size and length to play left tackle in the NFL. But again, like I said, it's development and showing him he can handle the step up in competition. Another guy, again, so this is a tackle class full of potential. Isaiah World, I really like his film. I think there's still some work to be done technically, but he's listed at 6'8", 310. He's probably 6'7", 6'6", but still a big guy who somewhat similar to Jaden Roberts. He's pretty much all muscle, even though he's so big. He's such a big guy. There's very little fat on his body, even though he's so big, that big. But yeah, the athleticism there. He has a really good anchor, actually, for a guy who played in Nevada last year. You can't bull rush him. It's a film. Guys try and bull rush him. It's just, he moves back. He moves, a couple feet back, but he stops. He's stalemates him all the time. He doesn't give anything any power. But again, like I said, it's technical stuff. He needs to work on the move up competition stuff. But again, he's another guy that, if he hits his potential, I think he could. Again, another guy I think that he could sneak into the first round if he hits his potential. Right now, I have him down there, of course, because again, we need to see those things. Let me see. Sorry, I was just counting to see where I'm at. How many guys?
That's okay. That's a lot. So whether we hit 17 or whether we hit 20 offensive linemen,
I think I got 21 actually. But yeah,
yeah. So I definitely heard new names, right? And again, draft professor. There's multiple opinions, and you're hearing from Brian now. You have heard from others, and we will be podcasting on this from now until April. So we have a lot to sort through. So, Brian, that was an